Self-Inquiry 16. Disciple, how do egoity, soul, self and Brahman come to be identified? Master with the example. Iron ball is like egoity. The heated iron ball is the soul which appears as a superimposition on the self. The fire that is in the heated iron ball is the light of consciousness, that is the immutable Brahman which shines in the soul in everybody. The flame of fire which remains as one is the all-pervading Brahman which remains as one. From the examples given above, it will be clear how egoity, soul, witness and all witness come to be identified. Just as in the wax lump that is with the numerous and varied metal particles lie included and all of them appear to be one wax lump, so also in deep sleep the gross and subtle bodies of all the individual souls are included in the cosmic Maya, which is nescience of the nature of sheer darkness. And since the souls are resolved in the self, becoming one with it, they see everywhere darkness alone. From the darkness of sleep, the subtle body with egoity, and from that egoity the gross body arise respectively. Even as the egoity arises, it appears superimposed on the nature of the self, like the heated iron ball. Thus, without the soul or jiva, which is the mind or egoity that is conjoined with the consciousness light, there is no witness of the soul, that is the self, and without the self there is no Brahman, that is all witness. Just as when the iron ball is beaten into various shapes by the smith, the fire that is in it does not change thereby in any manner. Even so, the soul may be involved in ever so many experiences and undergo pleasures and pains, and yet the self-light that is in it does not change in the least thereby. And like the ether, it is the all-pervasive pure knowledge that is one, and it shines in the heart as Brahman. Self-Inquiry number 17. How is one to know that in the heart the self itself shines as Brahman? Master, just as the elemental ether within the flame of a lamp is known to fill without any difference and without any limit both the inside and the outside of the flame, so also the knowledge ether that is within the self-light in the heart fills without any difference and without any limit both the inside and outside of that self-light. This is what is referred to as Brahman. Number 18. Disciple, how do three states of experience, the three bodies which are imaginations, appear in the self-light, which is one, unitary and self-luminous? Even if they should appear, how is one to know that the self alone remains ever unmoving? The self, which is the lamp, shines of its own accord in the inner chamber, that is the causal body, that is endowed with nescience as the inner wall and sleep as the door. When by the vital principle, as conditioned by time, karma, etc., the sleep door is opened, there occurs a reflection of the self in the egoity mirror that is placed next to the doorstep. Mahatattva, the egoity mirror thus illumines the middle chamber, the dream state. And through the windows, which are the five cognitive sense organs, the outer court, the waking state. When again by the vital principle as conditioned by time, karma, etc., the sleep door gets shut, the egoity ceases along with waking and dream, and the self alone ever shines. The example just given explains how the self is unmoving, how there is difference between the self and the egoity, and how the three states of experience, the three bodies, appear. Self-Inquiry 19. Disciple, although I have listened to the explanation of the characteristics of inquiry in such great detail, my mind has not gained even a little peace. What is the reason for this? Master, the reason is the absence of strength or one-pointedness of the mind. Self-Inquiry number 20. Disciple, what is the reason for the absence of mental strength? Master, the means that makes one qualified for inquiry or meditation, yoga, etc. One should gain proficiency in these through graded practice and thus secure a stream of mental modes that is natural and helpful. When the mind that has become ripe in this manner listens to the present inquiry, it will at once realize its true nature, which is the self, and remain in perfect peace, without deviating from that state. To a mind which has not become ripe, immediate realization and peace are hard to gain through listening to inquiry. Yet, if one practices the means for mind control for some time, peace of mind can be obtained eventually. Self-Inquiry number 21. Of the means for mind control, which is the most important? Master, breath control is the means for mind control. How is the breath to be controlled? Breath can be controlled either by absolute retention of breath, kevala kumbhaka, or by regulation of breath, pranayama. What is the absolute retention of breath? It is making the vital air stay firmly in the heart, even without exhalation and inhalation. This is achieved through meditation on the vital principles. Number 24. What is regulation of breath? It is making the vital air stay firmly in the heart through exhalation, inhalation, and retention, according to the instructions given in the yoga text. Number 25. How is breath control the means for mind control? There is no doubt that the breath control is the means for mind control, because the mind, like breath, is a part of air, because the nature of mobility is common to both. Because the place of origin is the same for both, and because one of them is controlled, the other gets controlled. Number 26. Disciple, since breath control leads only to quiescence of the mind, manolaya, and not to its destruction, manonasha, how can it be said that breath control is the means for inquiry which aims at the destruction of mind? Master, the scriptures teach the means for gaining self-realization in two modes, as the yoga with 8 limbs, Ashtanga Yoga, and as knowledge with 8 limbs, Ashtanga Jnana. By regulation of breath, pranayama, or by absolute retention thereof, kevala kumbhaka, which is one of the limbs of yoga, the mind gets controlled. Without leaving the mind at that, if one practices the further disciplines such as withdrawal of the mind from external objects, then at the end, self-realization, which is the fruit of inquiry, will surely be gained. Number 27. What are the limbs of yoga? Yama, Niyama, Asana, Pranayam, Pratyahar, Dharana, Dhyana, Samadhi. Of these, Yama, this stands for the cultivation of such principles of good conduct as non-violence, ahimsa, truth, satya, non-stealing, asteya, celibacy, brahmacharya, and non-possession, aparigraha. Number 2. Niyama. This stands for the observance of such rules of good conduct as purity, shocha, contentment, santosha, austerity, tapas, study of the sacred text, swadhyay, and devotion to God, Ishwar Pranidhan, Ishvara Pranidhana. Number 3, asana. Of the different postures, 84 are the main ones. Of these again, 4 are the main ones: Sinhasana, Bhadrasana, Padmasana, and Siddhasana are said to be excellent. Of these 2, it is only Siddha that is most excellent. Thus, the yoga texts declare. Pranayama. According to the measures prescribed in the sacred text, exhaling the vital air is Rechaka, inhaling is Puraka, and retaining is in the heart is Kumbhaka. As regards measure, some texts say that Rechaka and Puraka should be equal in measure, and Kumbhaka twice that measure, while other texts say that if Rechaka is 1 measure, Puraka should be of 2 measures, and the Kumbhaka of 4. By measure, what is meant is the time that would be taken for the utterance of the Gayatri Mantra once. Thus, pranayama consists of Rechaka, Puraka, and Kumbhaka should be practiced daily according to ability, slowly and gradually. Then there would arise for the mind a desire to rest in happiness without moving. After this, one should practice pratyahara. Number 5, pratyahara. This is regulating the mind by preventing it from flowing towards the external names and forms. The mind, which had been till then distracted, now becomes controlled. The aids in this respect are: number 1, meditation on the pranava or the om. Number 2, fixing the attention between the eyebrows. Number 3, looking at the tip of the nose. Number 4, reflection on the nada. The mind that thus become one-pointed will be fit to stay in one place. After this, dharana should be practiced. Number 6, dharana. This is fixing the mind in a locus which is fit for meditation. The loci that are eminently fit for meditation are the heart and Brahmarandra, aperture in the crown of head. One should think that in the middle of the 8-petaled lotus, that is, at this place there shines like a flame the deity, which is the self, that is Brahman, and fix the mind therein. After this, one should meditate. Although it is true that the lotus in the crown of the head is said to have 1,000 petals, it also may be described as having 8 petals because each of these 8 have 125 subpetals. Number 7, dhyana. This is meditation through the I am he thought that one is not different from the nature of the aforesaid flame. Even thus, if one makes the inquiry, who am I? Then, as the scriptures declare, the Brahman which is everywhere shines in the heart as the self, that is the witness of the intellect, one would realize that it is the divine self that shines in the heart as I. This mode of reflection is the best meditation. Number 8, samadhi. As a result of the fruition of the aforesaid meditation, the mind gets resolved in the object of meditation without harboring the ideas, I am such and such, I am doing this and this. This subtle state in which even the I disappears is samadhi. If one practices this every day, seeing to it that sleep does not supervene, God will soon confer on one the supreme state of quiescence of mind.
Arunachala Shiva